everyone. Sorry there was a delay. I was hoping to start this on the hour. So hopefully couldn't connect, but hopefully everything's okay. Hello, I'm Teacher Lisa. If you've never been here before, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're viewing from if you're watching this live or the replay. And I'd like to first start by saying that I'm here to help you with your English language journey, and I focus mainly on intermediate students. And a lot of the materials that I produce are for intermediate level speakers. So if that's you, you're in the right place. I do have a YouTube channel, so you might obviously be watching this from YouTube. So go through all of my videos and just choose and watch something that pertains to you. So I'm going to do a couple of things in this live session. And this is really just to connect with you and also to just review up until this point. Every so often I like to do this. I'm going to try to do it weekly, but just try to review, what I've posted, what feedback I've gotten, what new projects I'm working on, what new materials that I've worked on that are ready for you to download, often free. Sometimes you have to purchase. It just depends on the actual material that I have going. So welcome. So you can put in the chat where you're from and also what you're struggling with. And that really does help me to create material. So I'm just going to share my screen for a second. So just give me a moment. So today we're also going to do a quiz. So if you've been following the idiom series, we also have a quiz that we're going to do. And so that way you can keep up to date with that. So I'm going to see if I can open that up for us also. So let me just go ahead first and share screen. And the question I have for you is, what are your goals? So what are your goals? So let's take a look. Just a moment. Okay. So what is your current English goal? And goals do help you grow. And you should always know why you're learning a language, so that way you stay motivated, because if you lose sight of why you want to improve your English, it can be very hard to organize what you should be working on, the materials that you should be choosing. So students that I notice do very well and that are very focused, they don't hesitate to answer this question, whether it's to be better at presentations at work, or to be able to talk to family members better, or to understand movies, or sometimes it's just a hobby. But you should have a current goal as to why you're learning English and what your destination is. So again, if you're watching this live or in the replay, you can put that in the comments. What is your current English goal? And it does help me when I get feedback as to what you're struggling with. So if I have a lot of students that say I'm struggling with presentations at work, and many students that I have are, and so I try to create materials based on that. So just think about that question. And then I just wanted to let you know, I do have a new American culture series that I started. The first episode is out, Understanding Values and Mindset. And I take you through, I think there are 5 or 6 areas that you should know. And this is not necessarily if you want to live there or visit the US, but it's if you work with international clients and some are from America, or you talk to native English speakers. If you understand the culture, it could actually help you understand conversation with them, because you'll start to understand the values and the mindset that could be quite different from your culture. So we have Happy Joy 9982. She's actually connecting from, he or she is connecting from the Philippines. Very nice. I'm very glad that you're here and that you're connected. So hey, hello to you. Welcome. Okay, so I wanted to just mention that. And also, My main channel is ESL Speaking Corner, and we have up to lesson 11 in our series Going to New York. So we have 11 of those lessons out so far. Okay. And this is the idiom series. Again, if you're watching the replay or you're new to the channel, I created a Going to New York series. It's a fun way to learn common idioms, which are expressions that are not literal and that native use quite often, on average every 2 minutes. So for example, it's raining cats and dogs. It has nothing to do with cats or dogs falling from the sky. It means it's raining very hard. And we use those kinds of expressions quite a bit when we speak English. So the 4-step process is that you listen to an audio, you don't see the words, then you should read the transcript, and we have the workbook for that. You can download the workbook. And then you should do the matching, where we match each idiom with its definition, and you can check your answers on your own. And then you should listen again for more accuracy. So that's the 4-step process. It's the best way to learn idioms within conversation. We're going to review some of those expressions that we saw in this series. And I will link it down below if you don't know how to access the workbook or the audio. If you want all 20 lessons right up front, you can go ahead and download those. It's for a very small fee, because it does help support the channel. And this is a new book that I am finished working on, and that is ready. It's actually an upgrade from a previous ebook that I put together, Learn Socializing Skills, Conversational English for Intermediate ESL Learners. I will be making future videos based on this. It's a 54-page ebook, and there are a lot of examples, extensive examples of what to say during different situations where you have to speak English. And so it's really quite comprehensive. So I think you'll enjoy it. And I have that linked in the description if that interests you. So I will have some upcoming videos based on this book. Okay, let's see if there's anything else before we get to our quiz. Anything else? So all the links are in the description for different resources. So you can go ahead and after the stream, or if you're watching the replay, just check the box. I do have Lisa's Story Corner, so if you have young ones or you yourself, if you want to follow along and practice your English, you can hear me read and look at the words. I have some new videos that I put out, so you can follow me there on that channel. So please subscribe. And we also have ESL Job Talk, where if you want to focus on interviews, you can check out that channel also. So let's go ahead and do the review. We're going to review lessons 1 through 11 during the stream. And I like the phrase here, remember, if a native English speaker knows these idioms, so should you. I get asked that question a lot. Do American speakers use idioms when we talk? We absolutely do. And you should learn them. And if you're struggling understanding Americans and how they speak and their communication style, one big area that you could be lacking is idioms. So that's very important. So I'm going to take you over to the other screen, and we're actually going to do a quiz and just to review some of the idioms that occurred in units 1 through 11. And of course, idioms are quite extensive, but this is a good place to start, is through a story, through a dialogue, and that's how you can make better sense of the idioms. All right, so I'm going to share screen again. And I should also mention I'm working on an application, an app that will help you with idioms and common situations that you find yourself in, because that's probably one of the top 3 complaints that I get from students, is they just aren't comfortable speaking English in different situations. So maybe you have a pretty good speaking vocabulary, you're at an intermediate level, but then students panic when they have to go to the doctor, or they panic when they're in a coffee shop with a friend, or they panic when they have to talk to a policeman or a judge. So all those different situations you need to get comfortable with. So that's a good way to approach idioms and conversation, is based on situations. So let's review some of those idioms. Remember, they're not literal. but they are expressions that you can't change. You can never substitute idioms with another word. The only thing you can change in an idiom is if there's a verb and you need to conjugate it with the subject, meaning it has to agree with the subject. So maybe you might need to use a past tense or something like that. Then you can change the verb. But other than that, you can't change anything in the idiom. So let me go ahead and share screen. We're not going to do all of them. It's a card deck. I'm going to show you that in a second. And we're just going to do some of them so that you're keeping up with the idioms. So let's go back and share with you. Okay, and this is what I created actually just for this live stream and for this series going to New York. Okay, so I'm going to read it. If it's too small, this is as big as we can get it. So here's the first one. Long lost friend. Long lost friend. We have three choices. What does that mean? Is it A, to have a great time? B, a friend who haven't seen or spoken to in a long time? C, to work hard to find someone? What is long lost friend? Do you think it's A, B, or C? You can put your answer in the chat and then we'll flip the card over to see if you're right. So what do you think somebody says, hey, hello, long lost friend? Which one is it? So I'll show you how this works. If you think maybe you said, oh, I think it means to have a great time with my friend A. Let's flip it over. No, it's not A, but it's B. It's a friend you haven't seen or spoken to in a long time. So here's the example sentence from the dialogue, from the course. Takashi, it's Matthias, your long lost friend. So that's how these cards work. And I have something similar coming that I'm going to share with you. So that's the answer, B. Good. Okay, let's go to the next one. If somebody says, track someone down, does it mean A, to exchange, B, very soon or quickly, or C, to work hard to find someone? What does track someone down mean? A, B, or C? What do you think? All right, so let's go ahead and check. Let's say you think it's to work hard to find someone. You think it's C, okay? And somebody said C. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. It means to work hard to find someone. So here's the example sentence from a dialogue. Matthias from Brazil, how did you track me down? Okay, let's do the next one. Swap. Do you remember what swap is? If somebody uses that word swap, is it A, to exchange, B, to have a great time, C, a list of things you want to do, or C, before you die? Okay, C. Okay, we have an answer of C. Let's see. A, swap is to exchange. We swap numbers at the language school in Vancouver, remember? So that was from the dialogue. You can also hit explain. If you need to explain the card, you can hit explain further, but we'll go on to the next one. Have a blast. Does it mean A, costing a lot of money, expensive, B, very inexpensive, C, to have a great time? A, B, or C? What do you think? All right, let's check. Let's say you think have a blast. It seems like it's something very inexpensive. Let's flip it over, see the answer. It's C, it's to have a great time. We sure had a blast that summer. This is an example what I mentioned, that you can change the verb if you need it to go into the past, because the idiom is have a blast. But if you're talking about the past, you would say we sure had a blast. So you can change the tense of the verb in the idiom, but you can't substitute words. So it's not have an explosion or have a bomb. Or no, it's have a blast. It's always used that way. You can't change anything. And I will tell you that's often a sign that somebody is not native when they use an idiom incorrectly. Because native English speakers, yes, of course, we make mistakes. We do. We make mistakes. But what you'll notice is native English speakers usually do not make mistakes with idioms. They are exact. The expression is perfect. So I can always tell, it doesn't matter how advanced your speaking is, even if you have no accent. If you use an idiom incorrectly, I can tell, oh, I don't think they're a native speaker because you change something in the idiom. So if somebody said, oh, yeah, I had a bomb last weekend at the beach, had a bomb. Oh, they probably mean had a blast. And then I know that you definitely are not a native English speaker. So if you want to sound more native-like, if you want to understand native English better, learn idioms. I am telling you the truth. You have to be good at recognizing idioms and using them. Let's go to the next one, bucket list. If you're joining us just now, welcome. We're just reviewing some of these idioms that are in this course going to New York. So what is bucket list? Is it A, you're poor, having no money? B, a list of things you want to do or see before you die? Or C, very soon, quickly? What is bucket list? And there was a movie based on this bucket list. Does anyone know? A, B, or C? You can put your answer in the chat. All right, if you have an answer in your mind or if you want to put it in the chat, let's go ahead and reveal it. So B, I have an answer submitted as B. Let's take a look. The answer is B. It's a list of things you want to do or see before you die. In the course, the idiom course, we had the sentence, the Big Apple, that's on my bucket list. So he wants to go to New York before he dies. Let's look at the next one. Pricey, pricey. What is pricey? Is it A, costing a lot of money, expensive? Or is it B, to think about a decision for a day or so? Or C, is it very inexpensive? What does pricey mean? Let's take a look at the answer. Cost a lot of money, expensive. So here was the example sentence. But New York is so pricey. So you can say pricey or expensive. Let's do another. What if we say in no time? In no time. Is it A, to work hard to find someone? Is it B, very soon, quickly? Or is it C, poor, having no money? In no time. In no time. A, B, or C? Okay, so do you have an answer in your mind, or you can put it in the chat? Very soon, quickly, in no time. Here's the example. I'll be broke in no time. I'll be broke in no time. So very soon or quickly. And what exactly is broke? Do you know a lot of students get this wrong? A lot of students get this wrong. Broke. We know what the literal meaning is, right? I broke the lamp. But in the idiom, in idiomatic expression, what does it mean? A, very inexpensive. B, poor, having no money. C, costing a lot of money, expensive. What is broke? I'm gonna wait for an answer for this one. What do you think broke is? Okay, B. All right, let's take a look. Poor, having no money. Yeah, having no money. When it's used as an idiom, it's not literal. We have to remember it's not literal. So if somebody says, no, I can't buy you a cup of coffee, I'm broke. Does it mean they have no money? They don't have like the 50 cents or whatever. Well, coffee's not 50 cents anymore. It's like $2 if you go to Starbucks. Does it mean they have no money to pay for a coffee? No, maybe they have no money in their wallet. Maybe it means they don't want to spend the money to buy the coffee. So when it's used as an idiom, it doesn't mean the person has no money. But if it's used not as an idiom, if I say to you, I am broke, that means no money in the bank, no money in my wallet, no money under the mattress, right? So some expressions can be quite literal and have a meaning, and also idioms which don't have a literal meaning. Next one, dirt cheap, dirt cheap. A, very inexpensive. B, to think about a decision for a day or so. Or C, A friend you haven't seen or spoken to in a while. You'll probably get this one because of the word cheap, but what does dirt mean? What does dirt mean? So A, B, C. The answer is A, very inexpensive. We use dirt like very. It means like very. So here's the example. No way, the rent is dirt cheap and the school is just a block away. Could you just use cheap? The apartment is cheap? Yeah, sure, you can. Why use the idiom dirt cheap? Well, you're trying to emphasize the fact that it's so cheap, it's almost like the cost of dirt. Like costs nothing. So we use idioms sometimes to emphasize a point. That is one use of them. In this case, it's really to show you how inexpensive the apartment is. All right, let's do a few more. Let's go to the next one. Sleep on it. Sleep on it. Is it A, to think about a decision for a day or so? B, to have a great time? Or C, very soon, quickly? Sleep on it. It's not literal. Remember, we're reviewing idioms. It has really nothing to do with sleep. So what is the answer? A, B, or C? A? Great. Happy Joy submitted A. Yeah, that's right, A. To think about a decision for a day or so. Here's the example. This sounds too good to be true. Let me sleep on it. Let me think about it. You don't know how long you need to sleep on it. Could be one day, could be 6 months, could be 2 weeks. So it's the idea that you're not going to make a decision quickly. Let me sleep on it. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a whole day. So well, let me sleep on it. Maybe you're going to get back to the person in a moment, in a few hours. That's possible. But it's the idea that you're not going to make a quick decision. All right, we're doing very well here. Remember, all of these idioms were in the dialogue. So if you haven't downloaded the workbook and the audio, you can get all 20 now. As I mentioned earlier, we're up to lesson 11, and I will have the other 9 lessons by the end of the week. Beginning of next week, you'll have 1 through 20. So you'll have 200 plus idioms that you would have learned by the end of the series. And if you don't know how to access it, the link's in the description. Heart to heart. A chance that might not come up again. B, a deep conversation between two people. C, to be wise, to have street smarts. What is heart to heart? A, B, or C? You're welcome to put your answer in the chat. Thank you, Happy Joy 9982. Thanks for putting that in. And the answer is B, a deep conversation between two people. Do you have a sec, Dad? I need a heart to heart. So you remember Takashi said that to his dad. They need to have a deep conversation. All right, let's do a couple more. Let's do 2 more. 2 more. If you have any questions, you can always put it in the chat. What if somebody said to have a good head on one's shoulders? To have a good head on one's shoulders. Is it A, to agree with someone's thoughts or decisions? B, to practice something you haven't done in a while? Or C, to be wise, to have street smarts? Have a good head on one's shoulder. Okay, think B, to practice something you haven't done in a while. Or C, to be wise, to have street smarts. Or is it A, to agree with someone's decisions? So here's the answer. It's C, to be wise, to have street smarts. Example, well, you have a good head on your shoulders. So street smarts, also students often ask about street smarts. So street smarts has no connection with degree. Like if you went to a university, it just means you just know about life, you make good decisions, you know how to navigate. It isn't anything necessarily taught to you, like at a university. So if somebody has street smarts, it's always a positive thing. They don't need to necessarily have a book to learn something or to be knowledgeable. So if somebody says you have street smarts, it means you're wise, but it's not because you sat through a university course. Okay, let's do one more. This will be our last one. See it one's way. See it one's way. Is it A, to agree with someone's thoughts or decisions? B, all the time? Or C, to have prior experience? See it one's way. The answer? A, to agree with someone's thoughts or decisions. The example sentence, I'm glad you see it my way. I'm glad you see it my way. Some people love that. They love to do things their way. All right, so we'll do a few more. We'll have another review once we get all 20 up. Thank you for your participation. Let's go back to the screen here. So just remember, idioms are best learned through conversation. A good method or approach is listen to a native-like dialogue, and I've created 20 of them for you. Listen, then read the transcript, read the actual words so you can see the idioms and how they're grouped together, and then you should do the matching exercise, try to match them. And then you should go back and listen to the conversation again or read again and see if you're able to understand 100%. And so you should be doing a lot of extensive dialogue exercises and dialogue practice. If you have any questions, again, if you're watching the replay, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. And I just finally want to end here by sharing with you a couple of upcoming things that we'll do on the channel. So I started this channel actually 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, a few months before the pandemic. Then I got busy building another channel, and so I couldn't really post on this channel. But now I'm back to focusing on this ESL channel and trying to supercharge it. So I just want to update you on some things to come. So we are going to finish the idiom series by next week. You'll have all 20 videos up. I started a new American culture series, which I mentioned earlier in the live. I have a new grammar series coming up, actually 2 grammar series. A lot of students have asked me about tense review, verb tenses. So we're going to go through all of the verb tenses in the English language, and I'll have a resource for you for that. So that's coming up. And also just a general grammar review for an intermediate level, what you should be focusing on. Generally, you should not be spending a lot of time on grammar at an intermediate level. You should be spending your time on building phrases that are common, idioms. You should be speaking a lot more. So that's what you should be focusing on at this intermediate level if you want to push your English level up to more of an advanced level. So those I have coming up, and probably, of course, a few more lives, but also just touching on some areas that I feel are lost in the industry that we just don't have materials for. A lot of students, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've met enough students that tell me sometimes ESL materials are expensive, and they are. Even for me as a teacher, when I have to purchase a book or textbook, it's not cheap. And if you've ever taken a university class, you know the textbooks are not cheap. But the problem that I notice with the English language learning industry is that you might have a book that's written maybe for intermediate level, which is like B1, B2, but a lot of it is fluff. A lot of the things they touch on in the book you don't really need. And so you might want to focus on one area, but the book only has one chapter, for example, maybe on giving presentations, and it's not enough. So I notice the material that's out there is inadequate. It's inadequate. So what I'm trying to do is fill that gap. So if there's something you're having trouble with, what we need to do is go to one comprehensive resource that you can focus on with that problem, and then you don't have to spend a ton of money. Why would I buy a book for $50 when I only need 2 of the chapters in the book? That's the problem with the industry. There are wonderful resources for beginners. I'm telling you, any language, most languages, there's a lot of material for beginners. But when you get to this intermediate level, students are lost. Students are lost. They don't know what to do. They don't know what materials they need. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is fill that gap. So I do welcome any feedback on anything you're struggling with, or there's something you want me to create. Because if you have the question or you're struggling with it, I'm sure your fellow students and learners are also struggling. So we'll leave it at that for today. If you missed this, once I end the stream, it will be uploaded as a regular video. So you can go back and do the quiz. We did some questions, review of idioms today. Also, any resources that I mentioned, I try to link it in the description. You can always just reach out to me, just comment on any one of my videos, and I'll get back to you directly. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining the live stream. This has been Teacher Lisa. I'm signing off now. Everyone, take care of yourself. And remember, the secret to becoming a more fluent speaker is speak more, use the language more. Take care. Thank you.